speaking to one of the men that's responsible for the good memories that we have as far as Namibian football is concerned. And I gotta tell you, I'm really, really happy. Been trying to get this man for quite some time now. I've been watching him. We've all seen what he's done as far as Namibian football is concerned. And what a way to start this conversation. And rather than just studying it at a place that has a lot of memories, and that's the Independence Stadium. We're currently in the VIP area where, you know, the presidents used to sit when Namibia used to do a lot of good things to the crowds, and when this packed stadium used to be full. And this is one of the men that is responsible for all of those good memories. He needs no introduction, Mr. Rusten Mogane. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
How have you been?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm okay. You know, retired from public service, but I'm still very active in other things.
You've done it all. You've played, you've administered football, you wanted sports commission. But today, I just want us to have a conversation about, you know, how it all started. You played as an attacking midfielder. You know, how did it start?
You see, my father is a soccer man. He's one of the founding fathers of Black Africa Football Club.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the house, and he took me, of course, to the soccer fields when he was playing. But then, of course, I started school. I went to Boas, but there I was just playing on the streets, not very prominent. And then after that, high school, I went to Debra. I played in the third team of a club, not even the national, or not even the school team. And when I finished my then grade 8, standard 8, standard 8, standard 8.
The different schools.
Yeah, I was a principal, of course, a few years ago. So when I started my standard 8, I went to Rusten. And it's where I really started to play football. You know, Benny Petrus was one of our prominent youth leaders.
Yeah.
And he said, no, let's go and play soccer now, Rusten, because you have skills and so on. So in the same year that I came to Rusten, I played in the first school team. And then, of course, that time, before independence, we played more against, you know, Debra, Korigas, Uis, Okagarara, and all those. And of course, that time, Rusten was a very good team. And even clubs like Orlando Pirates, Black Africa came to play at Rusten. That time, Rusten was very good in sports.
Okay.
And then our school team started to beat even clubs.
Wow. So there used to be friendlies between,
and it was packed. Don't make mistakes. People came from outside and they watched the game.
At school.
At school. And then I was spotted by Orlando Pirates. And Benny was an Orlando Pirates who was my friend and leader, and he said, no, let's go and play for Orlando Pirates. There's a tournament. And I played because I was 16. So I was, you know, very vulnerable. Anybody could take you wherever you want to take.
Of course, and you just want to play.
You don't care about those things. And then I played in Orlando Pirates, and then they saw, no, this is a good player. I was an attacking midfielder. I scored, I think, 7 goals in that tournament. Everybody was saying, okay, and so on. Then my father, when I came the weekend, he said, Zugile, where are you playing soccer? I said, no, at school. And then there was another club that I
Zugile, was that your nickname?
It's my name at the house.
Oh.
Yeah. And then my father said, not again will you play for Orlando Pirates. I said, no, it's okay.
So your father was Black Africa?
Yeah, Black Africa, founding member. And I said, no, it's okay. I was just asked to come. So when they asked me again to play, I said, no, my father refused. So then they came to my father's house. My father said, no, how is it possible that my kid will play in your team?
I don't know if you know, is that, how did the rivalry start? Because I know these days, Black Africa, African Stars, you know, that's the big rival. But we both know Orlando Pirates, Black Africa is the biggest rival. So by that time already,
there was this rivalry.
Was already.
Yes, and it was very interesting because my father and Orlando Pirates people were more or less in the same area. Camino Lucas and Damara Lucas and so on. So then because of that, Black Africa started to become aware that I play soccer. They were very protective.
Okay.
Every weekend they came to Rusten, okay, buy something for me. Not my father, but the team members. So it's how I started to play in Black Africa.
Oh.
So and then when I played for Black Africa, of course, everybody could see now, oh, this is a potential player. And then I was selected for then Southeast African national team.
Okay.
I played Karika for 7 years in a row. I played for that. And as a result of that, Black Africa, that was now late 5 October, was the leaders of the team that time. Of course, my father then was the management, but they were on the technical side. And late Fossey. Then he said, since you are playing now for the national team, why don't you coach the team? I was 23 or 24.
So that's how you ended up?
Is how I ended up. And I said, no, it's not a problem. So I started that. And so obviously, when we played, of course, in Tsumeb, Wolfies Bay, and so on.
With the national team?
No, with Black Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, national team only played in South Africa at that time. Before independence. Only there. And maybe when they come here. But then I start coaching the player coach at a very young age. So and so it goes on and on and on. And then when we started to have Southeast Africa footballization, when the whites and the blacks played together, there was that time they started to have courses, coaching courses. So I attended those coaching courses. People didn't believe in coaching courses that time. They said, why? We play good football and so, but because as an educationist, because I was a teacher, I believed in I have to be trained to be, and so at the end of the day, while I was coaching and playing and all this time, that time FIFA came in after independence we had to register.
What year was it?
1990.
1990. Okay, so which means we came affiliated to FIFA before South Africa. Apartheid, 1994.
Yeah, I think South Africa was even suspended because of the apartheid system.
Yeah.
But they were very, very strong in sport because of the economy and so on. So then when we started, before we joined SAFA, we had our own league, NSL, where I was the secretary of the team. While I was still coaching, playing, I was even secretary.
Okay.
And then we played only so-called, let me say, that time the blacks, we played together. But then later on, we joined the White League. We joined Ramblers, SKW, Windhoek City, and so on. And they started then to have courses, so I attended those courses also. Now, when we got independence, and when the government and NFA decided now to develop football, they brought in the German government, especially through Westphalia. So then they decided, okay, let's get somebody from Germany to help us to bring up our soccer. Now, at that time, what was it? Who was the president? Ims Namasek was the president. He was the president, and Dr. Wey was the director of sports. So they brought in Peter Obiang for youth development. So what they said, and me and Eric Munyo, late Eric Munyo, became understudies to Peter Obiang.
Okay.
But there was this guy, I forgot his name, from Zimbabwe, that was the coach of the Brave Warriors. I forgot his name.
It's not Shepherd?
Shepherd Murabe. He was the coach, and so on. But then we started the youth team, where Peter Obiang was then the coach of the youth team, and we were understudies. So then that's why we started now. Because I was a teacher, I knew the players at club level as well, and also at school level. Because I played for Black Africa, coach, so I know the players. I was also a teacher, so I know the school kids that play football.
Let's go back to, let's go to the cream of the crop, the best moments that we've ever. You said you know the players. How did you, what was the selection process like? Someone like Ronnie Canalero, best goalkeeper we've ever, how did you spot him? How did you manage to bring up, to assemble such a beauty?
That's a good question. While Shepherd was having the coach of the team, and we at the youth team, me and Peter Obiang, me as his understudy. So when that team didn't make it for the World Cup and I think African Cup of Nations, and when we had this under 23 team, we started under 17, under 20, under 23 team. So we played various games. There was even a final that we played in South Africa, the under 20 team. And then after the team finished its program, then NFA said, now we must start a new national team. So because I knew the youth team, because me and Peter Obeyan was doing Lolos and Ricardo's, the men, the Ronnie Kane. No, Ronnie was not there. And all these youth players, Mohamed, Robert, they were young players by that time. My boss Fries, and so on. So those were the young players that we had. So then they said, okay, now we must start a new national team. Then I was then spotted as the national coach. I said, okay, Rusten, you are now the national coach because you were understudy under Peter Obeyan. Peter became the technical director because in his contract, he was not supposed to be the coach. So it was only the technical director. So that's why I became the coach.
Okay.
So then they said, okay, now you must select a new national team. So then I took the under-23 team. That was now Mohamed, my boss, Lolo, Congo, those players. They were under-23 of our team. Yeah, that was the team that we coached. We played in Germany. We played even this Olympic Games and all these things. And so we brought them. Then I decided with Peter, let's get those players, a lot of Ricardos and those young players, and some of the old players in the national team. So that's where Ronnie came in. That's where Orlando Harrison came in. That's where Stanley came in. That's where China came in from Utoni.
You see, it's good that you mentioned that. I think this speaks to how the league was and the quality of the league, which I think it's the reason why the national team was so strong. So what do you make of how the league, the difference in the dynamics of how the league was then? Forget about what's happening now, but when the league was, how do you make of the dynamics?
I think we had better individual players that time. In the time that I was playing and before, there were really individual players, but there was no coaching, proper coaching. So I think the difference is now that there is coaching, proper coaching, because FIFA gave courses. We attended courses, that time not. So I believe teamwork is better now. The team is playing better because there's more players involved. And that time it was more individual players that make the difference.
And also the players, most of them, China, Berlin. These are some of the players that are from different, towns, not just Windhoek. Why don't we see that these days?
I think at the end of the day, since Windhoek, Commerce region, there is more money. Black African Paris Tigers, they have more money than clubs outside. All the young players come in and they grow up. If you look at statistics, there are more players outside playing in Windhoek than Windhoek players.
Exactly.
So that, and even if you look at the national team, you can see it in that way also. I wonder who's coming actually from Windhoek in that team. I'm not very sure, but maybe Stanley is from Civics, maybe, and so on.
Your best moment coaching?
You see, I'm telling you,
for the Breweries.
Of course, the best moment in my career is when we qualified for the African Cup of Nations.
Okay.
That was the best. It was the first time. So it was for me as something that I will never forget.
What was going on through your mind? How did we? Because I really don't remember. I only remember Monaka scoring in Ethiopia, and then
it's after us.
So how did we do it?
No, you see, we were in a group of Cameroon.
Wow.
And Kenya, Gabon, and us. We were those three in two teams that qualified.
Wow.
So the first game that we played was against Cameroon. We lost 4-1.
Here?
No, in Cameroon.
Okay.
We lost 4-1, and then the second game that we played was against Gabon here, and we beat them 2-0. Then we played against Kenya again, and we beat them also, I think, 2-1. And then we had to go, Cameroon came here, they beat us 1-0. After we beat us 4-1. Then we played against Kenya, in Kenya, and we beat them 2-1 in Kenya. And our last game was in Gabon. So
what were the permutations then?
Cameroon was through already because they beat most of, I think, all of us. And then then we were second, Gabon was third, Kenya was out. So we had to play in Gabon and we had to either draw or win. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was very critical. We even had what you call this planes that you not hire. We didn't go through commercial plane. They took us through a special playing through Angola to Gabon.
Wow.
So when we came in Gabon, it's now we knew we had to draw to win, to qualify for the African Cup of Nations. The stadium was packed, don't make mistakes, full
In Gabon.
in Gabon. So we played and we drew 1-1, so we went through. So for me, that moment, there was a penalty that they got. There was a penalty that they got.
Dubious.
Yeah, very dubious because we were warned by somebody who said, "Oh, you will get a penalty against you."
Oh.
But I understand something happened that we had afterwards. They didn't pay the referee during halftime, and the referee changed now. That's what we had. So we got a penalty also, and I called Congo. I said, Congo, this is your moment. And not only for yourself, but for the nation. If you score that goal, we are through. I spoke to the president. So
Before the penalty,
I called him. I said, Congo, you got the guy. He was mostly, I think, one of the young players. But I think Congo was one of the best technical players that was in my team. Yeah. So he scored the goal. After 5 minutes, we won the game. So for me, it was. And Peter Govian told me, Coach, congratulations. You made it. I said, no, it's two of us. No, you know how you were the guy deciding all these things. I was just with technical.
Yeah.
Later we became friends, really. There was no more monitoring or checking what you are doing because we know what to do. So that was one. The second one was when we beat South Africa.
Here, right here.
Right here.
2 times,
2 times. But the first one was for me more important. Why? Because they were the African Cup of Nations champions. And they had their full team.
So McCarthy came.
He was here, all of them. The full team was here.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was.
Because I only think that the reason why we beat them because McCarthy was not in.
No, he was there. The second game he was not there, but the first one he was there.
Oh.
So then we beat them here, and that was when.
Yeah, I think I remember. There's a picture.
Yes.
Always there.
And I must tell you, when I went to my house, that time I was staying at Karatura. I couldn't believe it when I came to my house. I was wondering what's going on in my house. Packed with people from Karatura.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe what and so on. But that was for me very important, those two things. Qualifying for the African Cup of Nations for the first time. And then also, by the way, I had an offer to coach a club in South Africa, but my father said, no, don't go.
Why?
Because he said, no, you can be fired and then you have a job.
Oh.
Because I was a teacher.
Yeah.
So that for me, and this team of the 1998, for me is a special team. Why? Most of those players are today entrepreneurs. And that's what we told them. Then, don't just sit here and play soccer, do something else. Just go through the team, all of them.
But what happened in Burkina Faso, man? South Africa, we lose. Ivory Coast, 3-0 or 3-0 down, we come back 3-3.
You know, that's the
and
thing.
then we lose, and then Angola. That was the team we could have competed. What happened?
There's a thing that they call to be naive. We were very naive. We were very inexperienced and very excited.
Oh yeah, because
when we played against the first game against Angola, we were 3-0 up and then we drew. South Africa was a funny thing because it was very funny. In 20 minutes they scored 4 goals. That we could not understand because
maybe it was the
I
mindset.
will not go deeper into that, but it was very funny.
Maybe it was the mindset because these guys are our daily bread, man.
Something like that.
And then they gave a reality check.
Angola, we were in front and then they qualified. And then we played against Ivory Coast 3-0. And then we...
Okay. Yeah, they were leading 3-0 in the first half, right? When you went to halftime, what did you tell the players?
No, I told the players, if you don't perform here, all of you will be out of the national team. I told him. I said, no, you will not make it. Even the next coach, I'll tell him, this guy's disappointed us. And I tell you, when he said, no, coach will show you. And I couldn't believe it,
Yeah,
even Mohamed nearly scored the 4th goal.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. It was
the footage.
Yes, and so on. So that for me, that team, I coached Black Africa for many years. Don't make mistakes. We won all the trophies when I was the coach. But this one, of course, is the national team.
Yeah.
It was something different, you know. And the only thing is why our team could not manage in 10 years' time to play. It was again this thing came in of fighting, you know.
That's where I want to go. I'm sorry, you are having fun. That's where I want to go. There's this notion that after 98. Of course, later on in the years when we later qualified in 2008. Before that, we were really struggling. Every game we play, we lose. Nigeria comes, Yakubu finishes us, all of those things. But there's this notion that I used to hear. Apparently, there was a fight, and I think that fight is the one that led to everything, going south.
You see, at the end, when we came back from Burkina Faso, we had a press conference at the airport, well already organized. And then they asked, why did you lose the games? And then I said, how did you ask me this question? I'm just coming. I had to give a report. Because you were inexperienced and maybe you should have asked Peter to be the coach and this. And Peter said, no. Even me wouldn't have managed it because Rusten built the team. I was just the technical advisor. Yeah, most of the our own journalists said most of the coaches were foreign coaches. Why didn't offer? My friend, whether we were foreign coach or not, Namibia is the first time that we qualified. And then we must celebrate.
Yeah, but there were notion that there were fights, players were not respecting the coach and all
that. That is not true. I don't ask the players. From where? When no player said anything to us.
No.
So the only thing that we had was a problem was when we went to Angola, when we COSAFA Cup. It's where the thing started because the players wanted more money, and I think they went on a strike.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, it's where the fight started. Because after the African Cup of Nations, we played. We also played COSAFA Cup. It started. It was not. There was nothing wrong. In terms of fight after the African Cup of Nations. What fights? The only thing was that press media were, but there was nothing that the players didn't respect. Who said that?
I don't just...
No, there was nothing like that. No. I remember very well, I don't know, but I will not mention a player's name because I protect my players.
Of course.
I remember there was one player that was very funny in the dressing room. And we just addressed him and said, why? Because he was frustrated because he thought it was his mistake.
Oh.
But nothing went between players and coaches that time. You can even interview the players and ask them. I don't know where the thing comes from that they will fight. It's actually the first time that I hear this.
Oh, okay. No, because I'm just going back in my mind because I was used to brothers who talk about no, this guy did this, he insulted the coach and everything. I think maybe we're referring to the Angola situation.
No, in the Angolan situation, there was not even between the coaches. It was between the NFA and the players. The players wanted more money. And that time, I think the president then was said, no, there's no money. I think it was one of the Petrus Damaset that was the coach, president.
Yeah, would you say that is the point where, I know we came back later, but we really had years where we suffered. Would you say that's the point where things...
No, in the national team, not on the national team side, yes. It's because then we went out. Late Lucky was the coach. He took it from there, you see. But I think the fights really started... no, that time I think NFA was still in good shape. I don't think there were big problems. I think it started recently.
Let's speak of NFA by itself. We've seen a lot of presidents. I think Sebastian.
No, he was the Secretary General.
Secretary General. Okay. Munyo, all of those people. Yeah. In your time working in football, I don't want you to. You don't need to put yourself in the spot. Who was the best administrator of Namibian football?
That one I will tell you straightforward. In terms of president,
yes,
it was Petrus Damaset.
Why?
Ames Namaset was during our time president, so we must give him credit. But the thing that helped us a lot during that time was the government. I must be honest with you. Government took over the finances.
Oh.
NFA had their own finances, but government really, footballs, balls, everything, government helped.
But they never used to come in and say and try to interfere?
No. There was no interference.
So what's happening now? Are they not doing
There
this?
was no interference in football that time. I'm very honest because I was in the middle of it.
They just used to give money.
They gave money. Of course, they took, the officials went along with the team. Like Dr. Veyes as the director of sports. And then Kanyuka was one of the managers. So they only did that, but interfering, nothing. There was not even somebody from NFA who said select that player. Because I look soft, but I'm not a soft guy.
Who's the best? I think we are about to round up. Who's the best player you've ever coached?
Yo, that is a very interesting one. If you say ever coached or on national level or club level?
Any player, I want you to just...
I had very good players it's very difficult to say this was the best one. I don't know, maybe the others will not feel good about it if I say that in the one. But the Brave Warriors team was one of the best players. But players that I coached, because the discipline, the cooperation, and later on we became like a family. Because even they came with suggestions and said, "Oh, coach, what do you think about this?" There was harmony in that team.
Coach, tell us about your athletic career. I heard you also used to run.
Yes, I at school level, I was at one point the best under 19 sprinter. I don't want to say in Namibia, but that time when all the schools came together, I was really a good one. 100 meters and 200 meters, I was the champion.
Oh, better than Frank?
At one point, Frankie mentioned I could have beaten him if I would continue running.
Oh.
Yeah. But of course, I was very serious with soccer. And therefore, after school, I just went into soccer because I was that time also a coach. But athletics, 100 meters, 200 meters, I was a champion. Even high jump and triple jump and long jump. So you can ask some of my players, some of my friends that unfortunately passed away now. Chipanga, Obaba Chipanga. He was that time in Martin Luther. He came to Afusuna. Where is the Mogane who outruns people like that? He came third, and I told him, my friend, what are you doing? So, but I was one of them. That's why in soccer I was very fast. I was running. I was in midfield, but I was a very fast player. And very fit because at the time that I was at school, I was an athlete.
So it's easy.
So I was a fitness fanatic, so to speak.
Last question: if you ended up, running football, where would Rusten take Namibian football?
You see, one thing is I was the chief administrator of Sport Commission in a very difficult time because there was the Sports Council and the new act, which is the Sports Commission Act. So I had to transform the sport so that people come over here. It was not easy. And most of the sport coach was white. So it was difficult for them mostly because the structure was in such a way that most of the black people would be in the commission. And the minister must choose 4 and the federations must choose 6 of them and elect them or appoint chief administrator. So it was a time that there was a little bit of conflict between the commission and the sport coach.
I think there's a point, there's not conflict, but there are points where the commission is brought to, I think the NPL, NFA thing, they wanted to use, but it's not like...
But it was not in my time. So it was very good because I'm a lucky guy because I was studying all the time. So when I went for the post, to apply for the post, I have a big BTEC degree in personnel and administration as well as coaching. So people think I was just a teacher. But I was a qualified teacher. I even ended to become a principal from 2014 to 2017. I did even my master's degree. So currently, and maybe to round up with that one, currently I'm a director at UniHealth, which is a company that deals with health issues and other issues like agriculture and so on. So I'm the director there, but I'm also AIMS School of Sports. I was the head of center, but I'm no more there because I'm at UniHealth, but I'm still helping them to look for international contacts. But I'm also representing currently international companies for investment.
Okay.
So I'm a junior alpha director and representing some institutions for funding investment, and at AIMS I'm a consultant to look for international links. So I'm not just sitting doing nothing.
So if now, let's just speculate, if you are given the chance to maybe by God's grace, or I know you might not want it, but if it were to happen, you are given the chance to run football, where would you take Namibian football?
You see, one thing is very, very clear. When I travel a lot around, people praise Namibia as one of the countries with the best administration. So I believe that is a good one, but I believe very clearly we can go as far to win the African Cup of Nations and qualify for the World Cup. Not winning the World Cup, because I believe, and I made some research after I left football, where you have the best players, where you can get the best players and all that from my experience. And if you do that and you put money into it, Argentina, when they won the World Cups, there were only 3 million people that time.
Wow.
So there are a lot of strategies we put in place. The problem in our country is when somebody comes, the next one we are fighting.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And government is willing to pump money into sport. They are willing, although there's not a lot of money. And there's a lot of companies that are interested. I was called by many companies to say, Mr. Mogane, we want to help sport, and especially for soccer, to go far enough. But these fights,
they're not good for us.
they're not good. And I don't want to mention names of the companies. They approached me. So I believe if I get the opportunity to, whatever way help, is to try to get our players ready, the leagues must run, because we are a unique country in terms of players. Imagine before independence we had around 6-7 players playing in South Africa. After independence, imagine we have how many players we have there.
So it should be better now.
It should be better
Way
now.
better.
Can you see? Because and some of them like Mohammed and Robert. Mohammed was once the best player in Kaiser Chiefs, player of the year. In Kaiser Chiefs. Now with Shalu, look, Otto, and so on and so on. So I believe you must have somebody who understands commercial sports, technical, and administration. You must have and I'm the guy. I helped AIMS School of Sport to set up a school. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I want to become, but I am a person who can do that because
It's in your nature. That means
yes, and I want to. I'm willing to do that. But at the end of the day, I believe we can maybe not win the African Cup, but come into semi-final. I believe so.
then qualifying for the World Cup.
We can.
Let's round up, coach, with just some light. I'm going to give you 2 options and you pick one. Maradona or Pele?
Yes, you asked me very good. But in my time, and I know Maradona, I know Pele, not personally, but I think Pele is still the outstanding one.
Okay. Okay, Messi or Ronaldo?
I'm a technical guy, I will take Messi. I didn't take the other.
And then let's see. Ronnie Canalelo. I'm sorry for letting you choose between your players. Ronnie Canalelo or Denzel?
Ronnie for sure.
Okay. Peter Sharolile or Eliphas Shivote?
You know, for me, I'm very honest with you. And I'm very, very honest with you. You know, Shivote, for me, is one of, in the top 3 top strikers in the country. You know, that if that guy could start earlier, he's one of our best. Shalu don't have a chance again because he has the speed, he's stronger than Shalu. Shalu only have now the luxury of being in, but don't make mistakes. It's one in the top 3. Shuhuda is my guy.
Coach, thank you so much.
Listen.